camber bolts on this as well. Now this bolt has an offset little lobe on there, sort of like a camshaft, that allows this to move in and out when you turn it, and that gives you your camber adjustment. And I'll tell you, it sometimes can be difficult to get these to slide in right here. I mean, this one went right in. So what I've done is I've put the bottom bolt in already. Camber bolt typically goes in the top hole. So one thing that's important to know about these camber bolts is that the nut has what's called a self-locking feature, and the top of the nut is actually crimped in just a little bit to give the nut a good grip on the bolt so that it doesn't just back off and fall out on you. So the problem there is that you can't thread it on all the way by hand. And I've had a lot of people return these saying that they thought the nut was stripped out, when in reality it's just got this self-locking feature that grips the bolt really tight, and then when you tighten it, it's just on there, right? So that's why they don't just thread on by hand. They're not stripped out, they're not cross-threaded. You just have to know that. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get this. There it goes. Now see how the washer sort of flushed in right there? That just holds the bolt in place properly. And then we will put the nut on right there. Hold this in place. It's a 19 millimeter. No, it's not. It's an 18 millimeter on the bolt head side. And on this side, it's a 21 millimeter. I'm going to turn the camber bolt, and I want you to watch the top of this hub when I do so. You see how it moves? That's the cam on the bolt moving this whole assembly back and forth, right? So now you've got your camber adjusted. And that's just enough. That's just enough. It's not a lot, but it's just enough to get this dialed in for your camber. When you take your car to get an alignment done, make sure you tell your alignment guy that you have these camber bolts, because I've had a few people get their car aligned and the camber was the same before and after, and they complained to me about the camber not being adjusted properly. But what happened is that the alignment tech just didn't know that they had these, so they didn't think you could adjust camber, because from the factory you can't. It just comes with these regular bolts and there's no adjustment for camber. That's what these bolts do, is give you that adjustability. So if you didn't know they were there, you wouldn't even try to adjust camber. So you have to make sure that you tell your alignment technician that you have camber adjusters in there